Hi everyone, hope you're all doing good. Okay, so this is the sixth round draw for the 38th edition of the Tapology Lucky Bastard Game. Uh, we had four in it in the fifth round, and the wheel sliced the field in half, and we're now left with just two people left in the game. Just to remind ourselves who they are. They are D1, D4, K10, and Damien Handel 420. So there are two that are left in the game, and so should be a shorter video than most times, but I'm sure I'll drag it out through rambling, no doubt. But obviously, as we're getting towards the closing stage of this could very well be the last round. All it would take is at least one of you to have a losing fighter, and the game's over. Um, Preferably, if well, when the game does come to an end, it will be with only one of you having a losing fighter, so that we do get a champion one way or another. Otherwise, if you both have losing fighters, then of course the wheel would be declared the winner, and we don't want that to happen. The other alternative is, of course, you both have winning fighters, and this drags out for another week, further extending the misery of those already eliminated from the game. But anyway, for this round, we have UFC Fight Night, Ankalaev versus Guskov, and Magomed Ankalaev, he's obviously lost his title last time out against Alex Pereira, uh, and obviously beat Pereira before by unanimous decision in the fight before that, so where he got the bell in the first place. And uh, I can see him becoming the champion again now that Pereira's gone up to heavyweight some point in the future. But all in all, it's just a case of even though that was a pretty damning setback, it was a case of it's against Pereira, who's proven himself to be one of this generation's standout talents, really. So I'm not going to tear into him too much for that. And again, he's very much proven that he's capable. He's got serious knockout power and more than capable of going the distance. And I'd expect him to go the distance. I'm predicting him to win by decision this time. Uh, Bogdan Guskov, on the other hand, in his last fight was against the draw against Jan Blachowicz, and I'd probably have to go watch that one again with more recently to try and determine who I thought won that one. But in any case, he's a tough fighter up there with the best, but um, and I can't see him being finished by Ankalaev, but I think Ankalaev will just be, technically speaking, a little bit too strong for him, just on a slightly different level. So Ankalaev for decision's my pick for this one, but of course you're not here to listen to my rambles. Here to going to get drawn with. So let's get on with it. Let's see who is going to be the first one for D1, D4, K10. Uh, I say, really getting into the business end of this, so more than ever, you're hoping for a really good pick here. It's Ismail Bonfim for D1, D4, K10. Ismail Bonfim is M-A. There we go. And up against Axel Solar, who I think is going to win this, to be honest. He's only a slight favourite, Axel Solar, but he's looked very good on Ares particularly. Uh, for those that are not as aware, it's a case of it's Ares is quickly becoming one of the best promotions in Europe. It's in my opinion, it's almost overtaken KSW in terms of the quality. I'd say there's a lot. I'd say the fighters coming out of areas are a lot more technical than some of the ones from KSW that tend to focus on the knockouts artists more often than not. But I'd still put it slightly behind Cage Warriors. But again, there's not much in it. What I'm trying to say is Ares is very, very highly rated European promotion, and uh, obviously one on one in the UFC itself. But um, again, Reese McKee, the guy he beats in his debut, is Cage Warriors Illumini himself. So that shows it shows that the sort of high level he's at. Um, and even Mason Jones, actually, the one he lost to last time out by decision was Cage Warriors Illumini. So that's the sort of level he's at, which is, in my opinion, good enough for the UFC. Not really going too far into the UFC just yet. Still got a lot of developing to do, of course, because he is still only 13 fights into his career, with a very neat looking record of 11 wins, one loss, one draw. It's kind of a shame, actually, that that's going to have to change one way or another tomorrow night. It's quite satisfying now looking at one like that. But anyway, um, obviously the other takeaway from that is that Ismail Bonfim is the far more experienced of the two, um, and he is with record of 20-6. So it's going to be a challenge. Ismail Bonfim's probably the most experienced fighter he's faced in his career, or one of anyway. So it's going to be a challenge for Sola, but I think Sola's going to win this, which, as I say, is bad news for D1 D4K10, supposing I'm right. But Bonfim, as I say, it's gonna be a tough challenge for him to try and turn his current form around, having been on a two-fight losing streak. Um, I say he's got the experience going for him, and I think that's probably um, his main attribute, really. It's sort of just try and be a bit wiser, a bit it's just a few old school tricks, I suppose, that's maybe Solar. If Solar shows any kind of inexperience in any particular area, you'd like to think maybe Bonfim can adjust to that and take advantage of it. But unfortunately, I do think that Solar is should be the favourite. He is the slight favourite, but I think D1 D4K10's going to be knocked out in this round, which leaves the door open for Damien Handel to potentially come in and just swoop this, potentially. All in needs a winning fighter and got a very good chance. Anyway, speaking of Damien Handel 420 is up next. Let's see if he gets a slightly more favourable pick from the wheel. This could be the spin that wins it uh, for him. And it gets Steve Urseg. Steve Urseg for Damien Handel 420. And Steve Urseg, he's right at the top of the flyweight division. In my opinion, if you look at people he's lost to, Pantoja, Moreno, they're all right at the elite level of the flyweight division. So even though the three straight losses do look pretty bad on paper, they're really not that bad at all. They're not really major setbacks at all. And of course, when he's been fighting down in competition a little bit, he's got back on track with wins over Tim Elliott last time and Ode Osborne before that. And Tim Elliott in particular is a good win. Elliott probably in a similar situation to Urseg, not quite. Um, not quite going to be the champion level, but definitely knocking on the door of the top five or six. But Sig, of course, got plenty of stamina to him. He's very durable. He is one tough son of a bitch. No disrespect to his parents, but I mean that as a compliment. He is. It takes a lot to get him down and to keep him down. Um, that's going to be uh, a big factor though, because his opponent Ramazan Temirov is a very, very powerful knockout artist. Mostly been fighting his trade over in Rising, and that's where he's got quite a few of his uh, recent knockouts anyway. But if as for UFC, coming off a win against Charles Johnson, a decision win, but I think Temirov's best chance here would come via knockouts. Um, but against someone as tough as Usyk, it's just a case of will Usyk crack under that pressure. Um, he did against Kai Kara France, but will Temirov good chance of finding a knockout, but I think Usyk's going to be a little bit too durable for him here. It's a very close fight, and it's one that for me depends a lot on the on whether Temirov can get through to Usyk at all, really, whether he can get any significant shots um, landed on him. But I think Usyk will weather the storm, and I think Damien Handel is in pole position to win this one. Okay, so that concludes the sixth round draw for the 38th edition of Tapology Lucky Bastard Game, and I think that Damien Handel 420 is going to win this, in my opinion. It's a close fight between Temirov and Erceg, but he's got a better chance with Erceg than D1 D4K10 has with Ismail Bonfim. Um, so uh, yeah, obviously just to run through them again, just as formality, D1 D4K10 with Ismail Bonfim, Damien Handel 420 with Steve Erceg. Erceg is the slightly more favourable one of those two to be drawn with, and my prediction, I think this game finally comes to an end this week, and Damien Handel will be crowned a winner. Or I certainly hope that if it does end this week, it ends with well, at least one of you being the winner. Anyway, it doesn't make any difference to me who wins. But as long as the wheel doesn't win, that's the main thing. We don't want both Urseg and Bonfim to lose. Otherwise, the wheel will be declared the winner, which we want to avoid that situation at all costs. Of course, if both Urseg and Bonfim get the win, then it goes on to a seventh round. Um, and then, as I mentioned earlier, the misery is never ending for those already out. But we'll see what happens. It's a very unpredictable game, and these are two very close fights, all things considered. There were some pretty big favourites and some pretty big underdogs on this card, so the fact that neither of you got drawn with any of the really nasty underdogs, or it's I suppose since that sense you can get count yourselves lucky, might get away with this. But all that leaves me to say is best of luck, you two, and obviously best of luck to everyone watching as well. If you've got any bets on this card, good luck with those, and uh, we'll see how this potentially ends, or if it ends. But we'll be back next week, one way or another, whether it's with a new game or whether it's an seventh round rather for this one. But either way, I'll see you next week, and until then, so long for now.